It's Caroline from newhorizoncoaching.com.au, career coach and job search strategist. And today I'm going to talk to you about the anatomy of the perfect resume, because I see a lot of people struggling really formatting their resume, and they keep on asking me, like, do you have a resume template? Which I have and which I send them, but it's understanding the mechanism of all the key components that actually make a resume stand out and make it perfect, that needs to be understood by anybody who actually writes a resume. So I thought to make this quick video to actually explain to you and talk you through the fact, like, what needs to be part of a resume, what makes up a good resume, and after that, what you can do is choose a resume template that you really like and make sure that those elements are all present. So whether that is a fancy resume that you design in an infographic way, or even when you want to do like a video resume or a website, a portfolio resume, whatever it is, it's always the same key components that needs to be present to really make the perfect resume. So let me talk you through those. I have a fancy whiteboard and I made a drawing of a resume that doesn't really look like a resume, but it will do the job. So first of all, you have this component here, which is your career statement. And a career statement is basically between 8 and 10 lines, and it really describes clearly who you are, what you specialize in, or your expertise, who you collaborated with, or the stakeholders you have dealt with, so you establish your seniority, and also the relation in the company that you have had. And then also the opportunity to really talk about whether you're a team manager or a project manager or whatever it is, that you actually are passionate about collaborating with or coaching and mentoring team members, or recruiting and hiring people within your team, and so on. So that's really an opportunity that you do in your career statement. And a career statement is, like I said, typically around 8 to 10 lines. Don't go longer than that, because if it's too text heavy, nobody reads it. And if it's too short and too generic or general, it doesn't serve any purpose. So make sure that's punchy and really to the point. It's not easy to write a good career statement, so it's worth spending the time on it to really get that right, because you will repurpose that on your LinkedIn profile, in the summary section, and you will also repurpose that in the interview when they ask you, like, tell me about yourself. So you will actually articulate exactly that, and that's so powerful because it's a consistency towards all your material about what people can expect from you as a candidate. All right, so next we have your key skills or your expertise. Now, in general, those are between 8 and 10 bullet points, 2 columns. So don't make one long list, just make 2 columns. So there are a couple of reasons why you do that. First of all, you want to break up your resume by having a visual layout that is easily to digest and easily to read. So they have the text on the top, and then they have the 2 columns, so it breaks it up and it's more friendly to the eye, as I can say. Also, don't mention more than 8 to 10, because otherwise, if you list too many, it loses again that credibility, that value that people actually are looking for. So keep it concise and keep it to 8 preferably, I would say. Think about it that way, because people list like, great communication skills, team player, and so on. But those words, or yeah, those words are used by anybody these days, and unfortunately they have lost their value. So the best way to do is to really find, take your key skills and break them down. So if you are in marketing, you can say like product launches or new product development or event management, and really specify that. So stay away a little bit from soft skills, because soft skills are very subjective, and at this stage a hiring manager only sees your resume, so they need to really capture as much tangibles, and they have to make a decision as quickly as possible. And the way they do it is if you list as many things that they really can see that the value that you add to an organization. So, all right, moving on from this, you have your key achievements. Now, key achievement, most people really freeze when I'm talking about key achievements, and they struggle to really articulate their achievements and what they can bring to the table. And to be honest, it's not, you don't have to have won the Nobel Prize. Key achievement, everybody has achievements. So the best way to look at it is, you see those key expertise that you listed over there. You take one of those key expertise and you think like, what is the best possible example? And you write that down, and then you think, okay, what was the result of that task or responsibility that I've had? Was it that I met a deadline? Was that, what did I increase, decrease? What did I actually do? And basically that is your key achievement. It's making sure that you talk about the results you achieved performing a certain task. Those results don't have to be really numbers based. If you have numbers, that's great, but if you don't, that's okay too. It doesn't mean that you don't have to write any of the key achievements in there. Now, it's very important that you list that, because you help the hiring manager who reads your resume actually to not make assumptions, because most of the time they know the tasks that somebody does in a certain position. So let me give you an example. A recruitment consultant, the tasks needs to be calling candidates and qualifying them and matching them to jobs that they have live. And all those responsibilities, they are really already responsibilities the hiring managers knows. So it doesn't really strike him or her. But if you actually attach the results that you achieved doing that task, so you say like, called 40 candidates a day and made a short list that I could send over to the client of 3 top candidates, and all 3 of them got an interview. And that is a result that is specific and unique to you. So you see how the responsibilities and tasks anybody can do, but the results are very specific to you. So have a think about that, because I'm sure most people undersell themselves and they think like, oh, I don't have anything, and I can actually, anybody that I talk to, I'm always able to get the key achievements from them. So that's the third component. The fourth component is your career history. Now, with career history, there are a couple of things that are worth mentioning. First of all, you have your the company name, but you have to really give a little bit of context of that, of the company. So just give one sentence that explains a little bit the type of organization you worked for. Even though it's a well-known organization, it doesn't matter. It's just painting a picture And then you actually list your job title, the position that you held, and then your mandate, which is really important. Most people forget that and don't understand why they need to list that. But if you were, for example, working for one of the big banks, it's going to be very different whether you're working in a team of 20 people or where you actually were working in a standalone startup department of that big bank. It's still the big bank, but the resources and the people that you have to work with would be very different. So you have to use that opportunity to really make sure you articulate yourself and identify yourself, and yeah, explain yourself what you have done within those organizations. And then you come to responsibilities and achievements, and you actually like give a little bit more explanation of the responsibilities, the tasks you had, and you link them again back to the results you had. A lot of people say it's a lot of repetition, and to be honest, it's not, because you start very broad and very general in your career statement. So you paint the picture, you set the tone. Then you have your key skills. The key skills are basically supporting your career statement. So it flows through from one end to another end, and it's a natural transition. And then you have your key achievements, again, which are basically the backbone of and the proof that you mastered the skills that actually are that you need to deliver on the promise, which is your career statement. So you see how you create flow in this piece, and it's so important. So and that's what why most resumes fail, is because they don't have flow in them. I receive them, and I have seen so many resumes, and they're just a bunch of words on paper, and they might sound good, but I don't get the story. I don't get what they actually do. I can make assumptions, but in this world, you can't leave too much to assumptions. You need to be very clear and in control about how you want them to read your resume. So, and then, so you have, we already covered 4 components. So your career statement, your key expertise, your key achievements, your career history. And then the last point is others. Now, it's not because I mentioned others last that it's, and I call it others, that it's unimportant, because it isn't. But in others, you list your education, the languages you speak, any other information that's important. Now, it depends really on the country you're applying for a job, that you switch things around. Let me give you an example. If you're applying for a job in Europe, for example, languages are very important. So you're going to make sure that the languages are on top, listed, so for people immediately to see. So I know in Australia it's less important unless it's specifically asked, but majority of companies that I've worked for, they don't really care that I speak Dutch and German and French, even though German my husband would say I don't speak. But let's keep it to, let's assume that I speak it. Like, just, I wouldn't mention that in the beginning, because nobody really will select me as a suitable candidate based on that. Another point is education. A lot of people ask me about education. Should I list that in the beginning or at the end? And to be honest, education is one of those things that's really depending on the role and the country again. I know, for example, in Germany, it's, and in Belgium or in France, education is very important. In Australia, the education is important, but experience actually is a dominant player. Now, ask yourself this question: would a person or company hire you solely for the fact of your education? If you have 10 years experience, probably the answer is no. So the experience is more important. So therefore, you can actually assume that you can move your education to the back of your resume, because you want to highlight why, what your added value is, what your unique value proposition is, and why a company should hire you in the first place. So the best way to describe it is your resume really needs to be like a teaser of a movie trailer. You see a snippet and a hiring manager, they want to see more, and that's what you have to create with your resume. So they read it and they are so excited that they say like, okay, let's book in an interview. If you list everything already, you spoil it. So they don't want to, they say like, nah, I don't want to see this person for an interview. Or they might, but your chances, you want to create that excitement about them. So these are the elements of a resume that are really important. There is no better time to really take a moment and reflect on, okay, your skills, your experience, what you have to offer than now, because now in the holiday period, people have more time to update and upgrade their resume. So I hope this helped. I will pop a link below this video so you can download my resume template and the checklist, so you can actually see what I mean and all these steps basically in a nice PDF form. Thank you very much and have a lovely evening. Bye.